Good morning. It's me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot. And we are about to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energies inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see reflected back to us in the outside world. So we can glean things about people from our real lives, but only because they are a reflection of our own energy. So we have to shift our energy inside of ourselves in order to see those changes on the outside. Um, we are looking at the Divine Feminine first today because she had more of her cards showing. I'm curious to see what's going to happen since I wasn't here with you yesterday. I'm going to be taking Tuesdays off, so it's going to be, you'll still have content, it's just not going to be live content that morning. So, all right, let's dig in. Divine Feminine, top of the deck, overall headspace, forefront of the mind, Nine of Pentacles, culmination, independence, single and fabulous, financial abundance, reward, self-indulgence, all those kinds of things. This is the forefront of her mind. She's like, I'm single and I'm fabulous, and I'm ready to be coming into some kind of a partnership or union. We know that because she's carried this energy with her for a minute, right? So we have her thinking about the status that she's achieved. We have her thinking about her own abundance. We have her reflecting upon what it means to be independent and the significance of her own independence. I think she also feels the imminence of this reward or this culmination that's about to take place. So we see her really ruminating a lot about this really good, positive material well-being, and really feeling like she has come to a point where she's taking care of herself. And so since she's in that state of not needing the divine masculine to step up, he probably will, which is like, ow, is so annoying, but like, that's the way it is. So she's thinking about that. She's thinking about how this ripeness we've got going on, ready to be plucked, like she's ready to be plucked. Niggling thing in the back of her mind is the Seven of Cups upright. So we still have underlying everything a little bit of confusion. And this is a card about having a lot of opportunities and a lot of choices and feeling overwhelmed. It's about having created a lot of fantasy and having to distinguish the fantasy from the reality. It's about unmasking and uncovering illusions and kind of getting to the center of the heart space and figuring out what is serving you and what is not serving you. And when you have all of these options and choices and they're building up because you're in the standstill energy with them, it starts to form this wall. And then when we move to the Eight of Cups, that's when we kind of have to just walk away from everything because we didn't make a choice. We built up all this fantasy and we didn't actually choose ourselves. It's like a whole thing. So underlying her Nine of Pentacles, where she's like, I'm single, I'm fabulous, I'm gorgeous, I am abundant, I'm independent, I'm heading, towards this culmination, towards this fulfillment in this material world fulfillment. I have all these opportunities, I have all these options. And I think she's doing a good job of maybe just kind of keeping her options open because she has this strong sense of who she is and what she has to offer, and she wants to attract the same kind of energy. So she's like, okay, I'm a little bit confused about which direction I should go in because of my having to distinguish fantasy from reality and illusions and deceptions and all these things that have been going on. But I'm going to remain open, and I'm seeking that same clarity that we saw her yesterday in her heart space, seeking clarity from the divine to help her make these choices. And she's just kind of being open to whatever the universe is going to bring her at this point. And she feels it's going to be abundant. First thing on her mind, love this. High Priestess from the Field Tarot, looking fabulous. And this is trusting her intuition. She's just decided, you know what? I'm single. I'm fabulous. I have all these options. I have all these opportunities. I'm going to trust myself to be able to do what it is that I need to do and to get what I need for myself in that Nine of Pentacles energy. And because of that, I can trust that something that's going to match me, because I have so many options, is going to appear before me. And I'm just trusting in my heart, trusting in my intuition, and balancing that masculine and feminine energy inside of myself so that I can move forward and break through these blocks that I have been perceiving have been holding me back from moving from this Nine of Pentacles energy into this Ten of Pentacles energy, where I finally have this partnership and this union and this material well-being. So she's trusting that she's going to be able to find her way past this obstacle that we saw yesterday in the headspace. It's moved a little bit closer to the front of her mind. It was a little bit towards the end of the reading, or the end of the headspace yesterday, but right now it's kind of moved in its position. And it's still upright, so there's still a sense of this blockage or this grappling or this, like if one person makes a move, the other person falls kind of thing, just having to hold position. Since wands are about passion and vision, you could say this is about really holding her vision and using her heart space to fight against anything that's going to offset this balance that she has achieved with her intuition. So she's holding fast to her own heart's desire and her own vision of herself in that Nine of Pentacles energy. And trusting that this healing in this Temperance energy has taken place. We wouldn't see High Priestess upright if the healing wasn't done, because this is a card of balance. She's understanding, she's getting a sense, her intuition is telling her, you're blocked by your impatience, my love, my love, my love. Like, you're blocked by this need for this culmination to happen right now. And you're only feeling confused about all of these opportunities and options because it's really taking quite a lot of work to trust in this iteration of the Divine Masculine to come forward, since you have carried wounds from the past into this present moment. So she's feeling impatient, and she's understanding that this is what is really blocking her from culmination. There's the sense, though, that the healing has been done, and that's what the impatience is about. We heard that yesterday, where she's like, I've done this healing. Like, why is there a block? Like, so this is kind of, she's looking within and seeking out the answers from her intuition to sort of explain to her. And her intuition is telling her, your impatience is the block. It's just impatience. And impatience exists because of fear. You think you're not going to get it, or someone else is going to get to it before you, or insert whatever this fear is about not achieving this manifestation. And so it's really, the impatience is only there because you're not certain it's going to be what it is that you want to have, and you're going to get to have the fulfillment of your wishes. So she's got to bust through this and continue to be in this High Priestess trusting energy, so that she can receive this Ace of Pentacles that we saw 3 times yesterday in the reading, and it's here again today. It is clarifying the High Priestess. This is what she's trusting. She's trusting that as this single and fabulous Nine of Pentacles, independent bitch, that she is able to attract all of these opportunities and options and possibilities, so that she can accept an offer that will match her heart's desire and be in alignment with her authentic self. And if she can be patient, her heart is telling her, this separation, this painful separation, this despair, this unending, seemingly unending separation, this illusion, because it's an illusion, remember, this will finally pass away. She'll receive an offer to be able to come into some kind of a reunion and unblock, so that this separation can be over, right? And her impatience regarding the end of the separation is what is currently blocking her from the forward motion of the Chariot, which is clarifying Temperance. So we have her here trusting in her intuition, which means she's doing a good job of balancing that back and forth energy inside of herself. having allowed this healing process to happen with this temperance energy, and then being prepared now to come into this place where she can finally feel this shift of energy and forward motion and stop pulling back on the reins. Divine Feminine, if you've fallen out of temperance, if this is an issue with you for some kind of an addiction, and this can be, it can be a substance abuse issue, but it can also be like focusing entirely on the specific iteration of divine masculine. It can be about being caught up in loop thinking and codependencies and everything. But regardless of what your addiction is, if you are not dealing with it, that is what is halting the motion forward. If you're dealing with it, which I have a sense the divine has intervened and you have been dealing with it, you are going to see this energy shift and move forward, and the end of separation is coming. If you can release your impatience with the slow moving energy, you're only impatient because you're afraid divine masculine or whatever manifestation you're trying to have is not going to come through. So it's just about trust. But since the first thing on your mind is, I have to trust, I'm not too worried about it. Okay, let's look at the heart space, and we're at 11 minutes. Top of the deck, overall feeling of the heart space is the Tower in reverse. So you have a sense that the only way that things are going to shift is through divine intervention. You are acutely aware that this Chariot is controlled by the divine, that the healing is completed by the divine, and that the divine itself is the power that breaks up this wall. And you're feeling that there has to be some kind of an intervention in order for this Five of Wands energy, this stuck energy, this unblocking to happen. You're seeking that divine intervention. You're also aware that you can't do anything yourself to initiate the Tower, which is why you need divine intervention. You are like, bro, divine masculine has got to initiate. And if he doesn't initiate, I can't reunite with this energy. So I can't really do anything. So please, 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 dear Lord up in heaven, can you intervene so that the divine masculine will do something to initiate this Tower and initiate the rebuilding? So to complete his release, allow everything that needs to pass away to crumble, and then rebuild from what has passed away. The niggling feeling underlying her heart space is the Emperor energy. So she is really feeling, again, it's the Emperor who must rebuild this Tower. And it's the Emperor who is being very stubborn and rigid and is being controlling. And that is also why the Tower must be initiated by this energy, because he won't have it any other way. He's too relentless. This is a relentless energy. Now that's a good thing for a leader to have a relentlessness, especially if you're trying to grow and care for an empire. But it doesn't always come in its light traits, and so she's experiencing this relentlessness in its shadow. And her own tendency towards being controlling, right? When we're impatient because we're afraid that the end that we desire isn't going to culminate. And so we try to manipulate, right? And if it's in the heart space, it's emotional manipulation. So the niggling feeling is that she's also having this awareness that her own emotional manipulation has been preventing the Tower from being rebuilt as well. If the divine masculine isn't initiating the rebuilding, then something within the divine feminine is in sync with that energy. And she's like, oh, I'm causing these Tower moments with emotional manipulation, and I'm preventing the rebuilding of the Tower by emotional manipulation. So she's just starting to really accept and take responsibility for her role in this shadow traits of the Emperor energy. The next card we have is the World card, and this is from the Muse Tarot, so it's also called the cosmos, the world cosmos, and it is clarifying High Priestess energy. And so what we see is her head space trusting her heart that it's not over, that this that she desires, it's not over. And it is depending upon this justice being done, which is in its reverse, clarifying this Five of Wands. So Divine Feminine is feeling like she wants this completion. It's not over though. And there's a feeling of it's unfair, this stuck energy. This is what makes her feel impatient. Like, it's so unfair. I've done this work. Like, why am I not completing this cycle? I'm trusting in my heart. I'm believing in my independence. Why? This just feels so unfair. And it also feels like it won't be over until she gets some kind of justice in regards to this King of Cups. So this is the muse of emotions in this deck, aka King of Cups energy and OG Smith Waite imagery. And the thing that she needs is, first of all, she needs to temper the energy in this card. Now, I like that this card can't really show up in its reversal because it's, well, I guess it could show up this way, but if it fell on my, but it can't. So we're encompassing here both the light and the shadow. And the unfair part and the thing that's not over is the Divine Masculine still hasn't spoken. He's still not revealed what it is that he is intending. She does, however, feel that he's revealed his love for her. She's like, no, I can tell that he's this loving, compassionate, kind, just, caring, good, heart-centered, psychic, intuitive, beautiful, attractive King of Cups energy, but his ass doesn't say shit. So this is what I'm impatient with. I'm impatient that I can love this man and or whatever gender we have going on here for the masculine energy, but yet this injustice that he still won't speak to me. It's just so frustrating. We have her here with the Eight of Materials, or the Eight of Pentacles, clarifying the Ace of Pentacles. And this is in the same world with the trusting her intuition that it's not over, that there is still this work to be done, that there is this work that is being done to present this Ace of Pentacles. So there's some kind of a creation or manifestation, artistic manifestation that's being created to be presented to her. There's definitely, I've got a sense of that from her. And that it has to do with her own sort of energy of creating something and creating this wealth and abundance for herself. She has to trust in her own ability to do this in order to be able to see anything coming from the Muse of Materials, or the King of Materials energy. So we've got King of Cups energy and King of Pentacles energy. This is what is clarifying the Ten of Swords in reverse. And we've got completion energy here. We've got this, the end of separation, painful separation from a specific iteration of the Divine Masculine. This is what she's feeling blocked in regards to. Her painful separation, this illusion, has not ended in regards to this Divine Masculine, because both of them have been doing this work to create something, to present, to offer to one another. And the Chariot is being in reverse, is being clarified by some overthinking, which is none other than the Queen of Materials. So we literally have the last two things in her heart space, the King and Queen of Pentacles. So this is the couple together, matched in the material. And there's so much grounding energy here because we have the Ace of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, and then the King and Queen of Pentacles. That's a lot of grounding. And it's overfeeling is clarified by this Ace of Cups in reverse. And so this is the thing that's preventing the Chariot from moving forward. Divine Feminine is I would say when we get an Ace of Cups in reverse, it's about her needing to fill up her cup and her needing to take care of herself and self-care. And I do think that there is an like a nudge here about making sure that you're taking care of yourself and filling your own cup and not depleting yourself, and that the impatience might be making you feel overly, like you're feeling a bit drained about this process because you're in this, you're halt. It's like the reins have been pulled back and you're just sitting here. And she's trying to be really in her abundance and really heart centered, and kind of having to go back and forth with trying to be this Nine of Pentacles, independent, like strong and independent energy, while still having a lot of this energy of the heart and really seeking this expression from this divine masculine, because this is what she's impatient about, not receiving this cup of love from him. Okay. That's where divine feminine is. Let's look at divine masculine. Okay. Top of the deck. Overall headspace for divine masculine is the Knight of Pentacles in its reverse. So, Knight of Pentacles, as you probably know if you've been watching me for a minute, is the slowest moving knight in the deck. He's not going anywhere. We're going to be able to finish this whole reading before this guy culminates his journey. But he's carrying something important. He's got this. It's pretty heavy. It's pretty solid. It requires like a lot of responsibility to be able to bring something like this. And it requires somebody who's stable. And this is somebody who's methodical, and he's just plodding forward. And like maybe one day we're going to see him. Okay? That's the energy of the Knight of Pentacles. But, oh, would help if I put down the correct card. There we go. But we're seeing a reversal. So we're seeing divine masculine finally picking up the speed and being like, okay, it's time to move forward because I've been moving very slowly and it is Judgment Day. This is the niggling feeling, niggling thing in the back of his mind underlying all of his decisions and choices. And it's just in there. And it is Judgment Day. It is time. It is time, Knight of Pentacles, to actually give the pentacle that you've been carrying and stopping at every freaking scenic viewing point along the way and having a wank and a drink before you get back on the goddamn horse and get going. It's done. It's Judgment Day. Time is now. It's now. It's now. And he is afraid and like also looking forward to the relief he's going to feel once he makes his confession and receives his penance and then is absolved. Like there's just a lot of, there's like a terrifying relief associated with this card, and like a finally kind of a feeling, but also like, fuck. The first thing on his mind is the Page of Wands in reverse. So he's really trying not to be too excited. He's like, okay, you need to keep together. You need to keep together. You've got a big wand, and you've got new ideas, and you're excited, and you're ready to just like get in there, and but you want to be mature, and you want to be a King of Wands. You don't want to be a Page of Wands. Like you want to be a man of action. You want to communicate. And he's a little afraid that his communication is underdeveloped. Like he's not going to be quite able to say or express his passion, and then if he does, maybe it's going to be too sexual. And he's like, no, I just he's really having a lot of anxiety and trying to suppress his excitement because he's extremely, extremely, extremely excited. Because his Empress, the Empress, in his headspace upright, abundant, beautiful, thick, curvy, like really, really every single light trait of the queens of the tarot are just embodied in this energy. And she's just like this is his ultimate divine feminine energy. And she's been nurturing to him and gestating this physical reunion, and this is his own energy too. But this is what he's trying to like not get too excited about. Approaching her and his Queen of Cups and expressing, because the Queen of Cups is able to express. She can navigate, she can swim just comfortably in the waters of her emotions. She can tread water, she can float. She's just safe and secure there. And so he's hoping to channel some of this energy from his divine feminine because he wants to be able to give her this expression. He's also just, she's just looking so beautiful to him. Like, you know, probably one of the most beautiful in terms of like angelic kind of heart centered beauty comes from this Queen of Cups. And that is, it's interesting because the divine feminine here, there's like a sensuality that comes from here. We have much more of a like a nurturing kind of a mothering energy from the Empress, and there's this real emotional intimacy and sensuality that comes from the Queen of Cups. And this is what he's trying to suppress, his excitement about like this divine feminine. And then here we have the Star. And do you think he's got divine feminine on his mind here? We've got the Empress, the Queen of Cups, the Star. Poor man. And then we also have here this divine feminine energy. Usually the Judgment is an angel that's mildly androgynous looking, and instead we've got divine feminine energy. So this is who he's seeking absolution, forgiveness from, for how long he's taken, and how he has suppressed his excitement and suppressed this new beginning with them. And so we're seeing the Star in reverse because we're seeing his wish fulfillment come down and start to ground here on the earth, especially when we see the next card. But we're also seeing that this is what he is then suppressing his excitement in regards to. We have here in the past, because this is a past placement too when we're looking at the spread. In the past, he has been afraid of exposing or bringing light to revealing divine feminine energy. And he's done that because he's been protective. But he doesn't have to do that anymore. And this is what he's excited about. He's trying not to get too excited, but he's ready to reveal this divine feminine and finally take off the mask and stop with this illusion that this isn't his Empress. And the Empress itself is being clarified by the King of Cups. And so we have this energy with divine feminine, this union here, that this is her divine masculine energy. And we see him really being in this protective energy. And this is what he has had to keep divine feminine hidden, because he, in order to protect his Empress, in order to protect his divine feminine, he has had to maintain his silence. And now finally he can approach his queen. And of course we're also seeing the queen because we want to see, for divine feminine, we saw the match, King and Queen of Pentacles. And divine masculine has the feminine version, the King and Queen of Cups. So we had the material version, and now we have the spiritual version in divine masculine's headspace. But I'm not concerned that we're not seeing the shadow traits of the King of Cups where he can't express. We're just seeing why he couldn't reveal is because he was in that protective energy. But now we have the Nine of Cups, which is in its reverse. But whether it's in its reverse or upright, it means we're getting our wish fulfillment. And the reversal on it is about releasing the shadow traits of this individual who is a greedy energy that's withholding and doesn't express. But what is it doing? It's clarifying our Queen of Cups, which means this divine masculine is finally ready to stop hoarding his emotions and his expression and his feelings from divine feminine. Today is the day. It is Judgment Day, and he is prepared to unload. And to further clarify that, the top of his heart space is the Knight of Cups. So that, unlike the King energy, is the energy that can express because he doesn't have the responsibility of maintaining silence so he doesn't freak out the population. He's actually able to be like, yo, I love you and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Okay? So there's the cup. Divine feminine feels that cup on its way. She feels that she's going to experience the full expression of this cup. It's not quite there yet, but it's on its way, right? That was that feeling. The overfeeling. The first card up. Oh, no, can't do that yet. I almost forgot to mention this very important thing, that the niggling feeling in his heart space is the overall feeling of divine feminine's heart space. The Tower in reverse. Now, divine feminine, she's seeking divine intervention because she can't initiate the Tower because divine masculine has to. Divine masculine's niggling feeling is he must rebuild the Tower. He feels I think we're seeing he's feeling the effects of the Tower moments between them passing away and the effects of what has happened when the Tower crumbled. But there's still an element here that divine masculine is still holding on to some of the pieces of the Tower that crumbled, and he must fully release them to initiate. I was looking at my divine masculine's Chiron yesterday, and his Chiron is in Aries, and he has that Chiron, that's your karmic debt, like the thing that you have to struggle with. Mine is in Taurus, so it's like I always think that everything I have is just going to be taken away from me, and I consistently have those experiences, and I have to like learn to trust that it's not going to be taken away. And once I heal that, then I help others do it, right? Well, his is being able to initiate things. And I was like, you don't say. All right. So once he overcomes that, that will be his wounded healing energy that he will help others with. And here we go. Someone who is having a hard time initiating, because this is a new energy, Page of Wands. It's excitement, new ideas or whatever. And in its reversal, it's difficult. It's difficult to get things started. Also, divine masculine doesn't want to be ineffective. That's another reason why this is in its reversal. He doesn't want to make little tiny ineffective gestures. He knows he's dealing with an empress, and an empress needs, King of Cups energy, King of Wands energy, Emperor energy to approach her. He cannot come to her as a page. So he doesn't want to be ineffective, but he is having trouble initiating. But the heart space is feeling powerful. Powerful enough to release the fears and anxieties regarding not being able to initiate and not being effective. He's actually feeling incredibly effective. He's feeling very, very cocky, actually. Like, what I asked for, it is given. Like, I've got this down now and I know what the fuck to do. So there's like a real confidence coming from that magician energy today. And he's really manifesting. And what is he manifesting? Well, divine feminine should be thrilled to see that he's manifesting the end of this painful separation that she's thinking is about to culminate. So divine masculine is working extremely hard to end the painful separation from his divine feminine. He's coming unstuck. And that's another thing to point out with this card in its reverse, clarifying for divine feminine, that 5 of Wands, which is stuck energy. When we're seeing this reversal on the 10 of Swords, it's literally pulling all of those swords out of this butterfly, and we're no longer stuck anymore, and we can transform. Divine masculine, same thing, coming unstuck, being able to unstick this energy so that he can end this illusion of separation with divine feminine energy. Queen of Cups, clarified by Four of Pentacles. So we have an attachment, right? But we also have him feeling secure, like he has a foundation. Oh, look, there's the butterfly I just mentioned. So this transformation. He's feeling like he is holding on with all of his might, clinging to this Queen of Cups. He loves her. He loves her. So he's very attached. And it's very difficult for him not to be attached. He's also been very focused on his money. And he loves that too. And that's kind of been the divide between in his energy, is like he's like, I'm so good at this thing that I do, and I see its potential, and I know that if I give all of myself to it, that it would probably be like this a huge thing. But like, I know that I also want to be with this divine feminine. And so he's had trouble with that grasping and clinging energy in regards to the material, and in regards to a specific iteration of divine feminine. And his heart space is feeling a solid foundation with her and feeling a solid emotional foundation with her. But it's also aware that he has had to work on his attachments to the specific divine feminine. Now we're seeing the Queen of Wands in reverse, and it's clarifying the Star in reverse. And so we see that he is well aware that keeping his divine feminine hidden has really pissed her off, because Queen of Wands in reverse is like, are you fucking serious? And like, I'm going to murder you with my eyes. And she probably could. And so he's really aware that it's this hiding away this light from this burning, fiery divine feminine who shines so brightly, keeping this hidden. This has really caused divine feminine to be not happy with him. And it's also been his own suppression of his own divine feminine energy, hiding his own sensitivity, his own emotional wounds, his own emotional healing, his own emotional experiences. Hiding this has caused a lot of grief. And his heart has done this in the Seven of Wands energy, again, to protect. There has been an illusion that he has had to protect divine feminine and himself from this outside energy that would seek to wound them. And he has stood his ground against these opposing forces. Now, we know that the opposing forces are simply a magnetic attraction for his own wounds, and that he receives the wounds that he hasn't healed again and again and again and again. So divine masculine has a feeling in his heart space that his attachment to his queen, which caused him to hide her away so no one else could see her, find her, get her before he could get there. And also to keep her from having to experience any of these wounds that would come from his own baggage he carried with him into their union. This is why he's maintained the stoicism and the silence. But it is not because he doesn't love her. It's because he loves his Empress that he has done this for her. Then we have the Eight of Pentacles, just like divine feminine. So he's working on something. He's creating something. There is this work that's being done. This is also what he's been attached to, because it's clarifying this. Four of Pentacles, attached to creating something, attached to his career. He has really identified with his material world manifestation of himself. So who he is in his career has been a huge part of how he has, I guess, created his identity in this world. And this is what's clarifying this Nine of Cups. So he's going to get this wish fulfillment to complete this masterpiece that he has been building towards, which is for this divine feminine energy. So he's making this thing, and she knows it. We saw her over there, aware of it on her side. And the really interesting thing is we have him overfeeling, and the overfilling is the Three of Swords. And divine feminine had Three of Swords in reverse yesterday. And divine masculine is experiencing this Three of Swords in its upright. And so here's what I think we're seeing. He's realizing that this focus on the material and his abundance, this is his third party energy that he's had to fight off. This is what has blocked his wish fulfillment. His career, his identity, how he shows up in the world, it's broken his own heart. Like, he's actually very aware that these swords, those are truths, that he's a painful truth he's seeing about his own wounds and about his own blocks that have prevented him from having his wish, which is the King of which is the Nine of Cups. So the Four of Pentacles, that attachment, that grasping energy, that, because he's wanted this one divine feminine and he thought he must have this financial abundance, he must create this thing for her, he must do all of these material world things to impress her and to protect her. It's this that has actually wounded his heart. It's this that has broken his heart. And so now he's working on these wounds, healing these wounds so that he can achieve this wish fulfillment, which is to be with his Empress. And so that is where divine masculine energy is today. Just a moment. Hello? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm refusing. Thank you. Okay, that's totally fine. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, so that was the end of divine masculine spread. Let's go to the oracles. Divine feminine, we have a reasonable amount of oracles, although we have quite a few archetypes. So let's see. We are in the shadow attributes of the detective, and I'm getting checked by spirit right now, hardcore 100%. The light attributes are great powers of observation and intuition and a desire to seek out the truth. So come into the light, because the shadow attributes are voyeurism and falsifying information. So we have a divine feminine energy that is really... Wow. Can you hang on a second, please? Hi, I'm working right now. Hang on a second, please. I'm on a live YouTube thing. No, I actually don't. I'm very clean. I don't have anything, no rants, no roaches, nothing. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Every time there's a knock on my door, also, I'm like, what the fuck? So, okay. Detective energy, falsifying information. So what divine feminine is doing is seeing information coming from divine masculine, social media, whatever. However, there are communications between them. Maybe there's texting going on that's not like clear, doesn't have tone involved, but there's some way that there's this communication that's indirect. And so she gets it. And then she tells all these stories about what it means. And it's not true. And it freaks her out and it causes her to panic. So she needs to come into the light, which is making observations and then trusting her intuition and desiring to seek out the truth, not falsify stories that will validate her fears about herself. We also have her in this rebel energy, which is challenges authority to effect social change and rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. That's the light attributes. But she's been in the shadow attributes, which is rejecting legitimate authority out of anger and rebelling out of peer pressure or fashion. So we have her in the kind of in the shadow attributes of the rebel. And I think this is in terms of divine masculine, where it's like divine feminine is kind of in this conundrum because she's working to have this sense of independence because she doesn't want to have a sense that she's controlled. And yet she also wants to be in a divine feminine receiving energy, and she wants divine masculine to step up and take the lead. But then when he does step up and take the lead, she really resists it and rejects this authority because of her fears about authority. So we have her rejecting legitimate authority because she gave this authority to divine masculine and said, listen, you lead. I'm done leading. I don't want to lead. But does she really want to follow? And so she needs to come into a balance where she's rejecting spiritual systems that don't serve her needs, but she needs to be assessing that. So then we have the orphan child. This came up a bunch this week. It's come up again for divine feminine. It is upright and it's in the light attributes. So she's continuing to release the shadow attributes of the feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation and focus on her independence based on learning to go it alone and conquering her fears of survival, which we see her fully in this Nine of Pentacles energy. Believe, Saint Hildegard von Bingen, a saint that used to show up quite a lot. She hasn't been here in a while. And she's here for divine feminine because if divine feminine is doing the falsifying of the information, it's because she's not believing. And so she needs more support in regards to this energy, believing in what seems impossible. Great. What is happening today? I can't. Okay. Happiness. Happiness and willpower together, both coming out together. And I think that she's experiencing a lot of fulfillment and happiness because what she used to interpret as a lack of willpower, she's reframed. We've got her in energy where she's understanding that self-sabotage, quote unquote, is really self-protection. And that you're only doing that because of your fears and anxieties and worries about something. It's not because you don't have willpower. As a woman who has had a thick body and had to struggle with that for her life and with all the things associated that with her, the thing that used to frustrate me the most is the perception that as a fat woman, I don't have willpower, which is reducing me to one. First of all, it's suggesting that my body type comes from the fact that I can't control my eating, which isn't always true for everyone. So check yourself before you wreck yourself when you make judgments about people's bodies, period, point blank, period. But outside of that, there's this idea that because I'm a fat person, I don't have the willpower to eat healthy or exercise, because according to the general media, that those are the only two things that you have to do to have a perfect body. And if you can just have enough willpower to do those things, then you will be perfect and look great and amazing. Okay. Whatever. That's a bunch of bullshit. We now know that if we fuck a lot with our diets, it turns against us and actually causes a lot more issues than if we just kind of intuitively eat what comes very naturally to us and deal with our emotional wounds and heal them, and then have a more comfortable relationship with food. It literally has, we are not calculators, it turns out. It turns out if you typed in 1,200 calories for me at the end of the day, then I wouldn't actually have a perfect body. It's nothing to do with that, but whatever. We can pretend it's that way. But what divine feminine is realizing and what she has fulfillment about is that she's understanding that this myth about herself, that she didn't have this willpower, was actually never something that was true. You do not get to this if you have no willpower. You can't. And the thing about willpower is that it's finite, right? You start in the morning with X amount, and by the afternoon you've depleted, and by the end of the night even more. That's why at the end of the night it's way harder to resist if we're trying to deprive elements and ideas in regards. This is, my connection is unstable. Okay, it looks like but she's starting to understand this relationship, and she's feeling happy and fulfilled because she understands she actually does have a lot of willpower to be able to go and do and be what it is that she wants to be. The key prayer is to forget what I think I need That's interesting. So I got these cards not knowing anything about this author, Gabrielle Bernstein. And my friend knows about her, and she was telling me some of what she says. So, and a lot of it resonates with me, so I should check her out. But this is an interesting concept that I've not seen before. The key to prayer is to forget what I think I need. And I think that that is releasing that controlling aspect of self that thinks that they know everything that they need for themselves, and that there's no really realization there, that it's sort of this higher being that kind of has the awareness of what it is that you actually need. So the impatience that you're having comes from the fact that you think that you need this divine masculine, right? But what you need is something, some essence of something within this. There's a desire, there's something in that desire, and you can seek that answer and find it out from the divine. But if you forget what it is you think you want, what you think you need from this situation, and allow the divine to bring you what you actually need, magical. It's time to release negativity, and that was emphasized. So again, if you are in falsifying information kind of situation, then you're definitely in this place right now where you are starting to tend towards the negative, and you want to redirect yourself. Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. So you're in that place right now where the advice that you're receiving from oracles and the advice that you might be giving to others is divinely guided. You are tuned in. And then we are getting this card, which really irritates me because it is Hanged Man energy of watch and wait from the Colette Baron Reid Spirit Animal Oracle deck. And it's about reminding you to be neutral and to gain perspective. Don't be tempted to jump into the fray, into the drama, but simply just sit back and explore things from different angles rather than a single one, right? Forget what it is that you think that you need. Step back and just observe what is possible. And from that perspective, you will most likely have a deeper understanding of what is going on. So stop trying to stop falsifying this information, making these observations and then trying to figure it out on your own, or, this is what I think I need, or this is what I think I'm going to get from it. Like, release this energy and just be really in this place of the Hanged Man, where you're surrendering those reins of the chariot to spirit, and you're just allowing spirit to drive. Divine masculine. You're in the shadow attributes of trickster energy. So you are manipulating others through duplicity. And so you're being a trickster. You're very clever, but you use this over intellectualizing and this cleverness to slow you down, like to give you some obstacles to overcome. And you create this world, and you create this, like, it's this world that's of your own design. And you do this through falsehoods and through misleading. And it's for, you have a good intentions, that you think that you're doing something because you're trying to manifest, basically. But you're doing this from a place that isn't, it's low vibrating. We'll put it that way. And you need to come into the light where you're transcending conventionist stuffiness and predictable behavior, but you're not using this trickster energy to manipulate divine feminine. Last week, or this past weekend, divine feminine was like really in this place where she's like, look, I don't know exactly when divine masculine is coming in, and so I need to attend to myself. I'm single and fabulous. I want companionship. Like, I can't be in this specific iteration situation where I'm waiting and waiting and waiting and nothing happens and whatever. And you don't want divine feminine to do that. So I think that you are doing some things right now that you know are inaccurate or not true, or they're just duplicitous in some way, in order to try to prevent divine feminine from losing interest or from walking away from you. And it's going to backfire real badly on you if you don't check that before you wreck that. Okay, poet. Again, now you were in the shadow attributes of this card, which was using a lyric gift to negative or destructive effect, but you have come into the light of the poet and you are expressing soul insights in symbolic language. So take this opportunity to be in the light attributes and be able to express symbolically if you must, but do not express any energy, trickster energy, in that expression whereby you imply something to try to hold divine feminine, like so that she doesn't leave. I'm specifically thinking if you know the time frame and it's longer than you think divine feminine is willing to wait, you are hiding that information or making it seem like that's a little more malleable than it really is, because you're afraid divine feminine is going to go to strangers. Stop. That's not going to go well for you at all. Okay. Practice makes perfect in reverse. Yep, practicing. This has kind of got a Page of Wands energy in its reversal too. So you're worried about being ineffective, and don't worry about it. You are practicing. You're making little gestures, little motions, taking baby steps towards where it is that you want to go. And it's a little bit at a time. And you're very much resisting this discomfort. You don't like the feeling of practicing. I get it. I don't like it either. But you have to do it. You have to do it in order to get where you need to go. And you are getting this card in its reversal. It is High Priestess energy, and it says trust. So, Divine Feminine's High Priestess energy is upright. She's trusting. Yesterday, your High Priestess was upright. You were trusting. Your concern with Divine Feminine is that she doesn't trust you. Hey, guess what? If you are doing this, then you are betraying Divine Feminine's trust. And if you are betraying Divine Feminine's trust, I pity the fool. I don't even want to see what that reading is going to be like the day after that comes to light. So please do not be duplicitous. Make sure that if you want Divine Feminine to trust you, you are acting in a trustworthy manner. I am the dreamer of my dream. This was in reverse. I have a feeling here that you want to have a shared dream with Divine Feminine. But you also want to be the one that's in charge of the dream. And there's this battle going on within you right now that's like, I am the dreamer of my own dream and my Divine Feminine is in my dream. But remember, you are the dreamer of your own dream, and Divine Feminine is a dreamer of her dream, and then your dreams come together and they complement each other. You don't dream how Divine Feminine is going to be, and then she arrives inside of your dream, and then that is how she is. She is who she is. And then you dream collaboratively. So keep that in mind. Also, this could be if other people... If other people are being problematic, then you need to be like, this is my dream, and what is involved in their business doesn't go into yours, right? Adjustments are required. So that trickster energy in reverse is really bugging me. And if there is anything that needs to be adjusted, I would say it is most likely that trickster energy that needs to be adjusted. The energy is gaining momentum. And with all the knocks on my door, I feel it. Oh my God, Priestess energy. How are you being called to step up and lead? Trust yourself, Divine Masculine. Trust yourself. And if you are not being trustworthy, then you have to rectify that energy so that you can trust yourself. Step up and lead. Trust that you can do this. And then you're getting koi fish spirit. There is always enough. And this is a card about looking around you and feeling like maybe where you are isn't quite where you want to be, but understanding that this is the place where you grow and that you're a big fish in a small pond, but you're going to be able to get everything you need. That trickster energy. I'm worried about it. All right, let's take a look at the bottom of the deck for divine feminine and divine masculine energy together, where you are in union and where you need help. You are in the shadow attributes of the mentor, which is inability to allow the student to improve onto the role of master and imparting false instruction. And the light attribute is passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. So I think right now you are both, I'm getting a sense that you both think you know it all. And your inability to allow a student to move on. This might have to do with the fact that part of the journey is for you to learn from one another. But when divine, so let's look at it this way. The situation where I'm sensing that there is some kind of misinformation or trickster energy in regards to the timeline that divine masculine is suggesting, or not even suggesting, because there's not even a clear indication of the timeline. It's making it seem like things are going to happen sooner than he knows they really will happen. And he's doing that because he doesn't want to lose this divine feminine. Because what he's seen as divine feminine achieve this Nine of Pentacles energy, which is, wow, now she's really, she's really fabulous. And all these others are going to see her, and I'm keeping her hidden because I don't want her to be taken away from me. And so she's grown and she's learned from our relationship, and now I'm not letting her move on. And divine feminine, you are in a similar energy because you're holding yourself back from moving on. You've learned lessons, but you're resisting moving on to any other lessons because you feel this obligation to be focused on this specific iteration of the divine masculine. So you were supposed to learn these things from each other on this journey and teach each other, but you've gotten to the point where you don't want to let each other grow and learn now from anyone else. There could also be a call here that you should turn to a mentor. Maybe you have a shared mentor. Maybe you should communicate with that mentor, but you might need to seek advice, or you might need to find an expander who can help you start to see how you can come together. But there's something that's in the shadow here in regards to teaching and learning from each other, and you might need to seek outside assistance through someone who has wisdom that can help you. You're in the light attributes of God energy. So this is love, right? And it's emphasized, and it's what is holding this very tenuous thing together right now. I shouldn't say tenuous, because the next card is strength, and it's also about that there is a lot of strength here. There's this eternal connection between the two of you. But you need to call on your strength right now, and you need to really be deeply in the love energy, the love, joy, and appreciation energy you have, and trust in God and in that wisdom that's coming from within yourself. There is a stream of love supporting my dreams, emphasized again. So just trust that there is this love that's supporting what you want to do, and that if you're moving in love, you're moving towards one another, not away. Be bold and make the first move, the both of you. So divine masculine, you know what that means for you. Divine feminine, you know what that means for you. And this might not be in regards to each other. This could be just making the first move in taking the next step to walk, to go towards each other. It doesn't mean necessarily reaching out, but it can. Based on the tower placement, I would say the initiation resides in divine masculine side. So in terms of communication, the bold and first move thing might be coming from divine masculine, but for divine feminine, it could be just making the move to be completely open, or making a divine masculine energetic type move in her own life, which will then attribute to a reflected energy coming back to her. And then finally, we have awakening, which with that judgment energy, this is a similar thing. This is energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration, rebirth, and it's in its reversal. So it's very emphasized right now that you are, while this is happening, you are being upgraded. There is a new way of coming together that you are about to experience. All right. Strange reading with a lot of knocks on my door. So I'm in a very strange energy as we're closing this out, but we're going to pull a goddess card. And we're using this for the goddess practice that I encourage, which is to take 2 hands and put them over your heart at some time today, some point during the day, and repeat as a mantra for 15 minutes. My heart is the heart of the goddess. And you can be envisioning any female, divine feminine energy that you, that is appropriate for you and your modality. You can picture yourself looking very divine and feminine if you want to. But I like to read from these goddess knowledge cards so we can have an idea of the divine feminine energy and how it has appeared throughout time and across cultures. Demeter. Demeter is an ancient Greek great mother goddess, a goddess of life and death. The Greeks emphasized her role as goddess of the cultivated earth, the giver of fruitfulness and abundance, and provider of the gift of agriculture. She and her daughter Persephone, called by the Greeks the goddesses, together represent the continuous cycle of life and death, the 2 phases of the vegetative power of the earth. Demeter is remembered primarily for her great love for her daughter when Persephone was abducted by Hades. Demeter's grief caused the whole earth to go barren. Here we see Demeter ready to give birth, to produce life. Demeter offers a blessing of fruitfulness and possibility, of coming joy, of abundant life, and of hope. All right, well, this closes the strange and tumultuous reading with many interruptions. So I do apologize for that. That is the nature of the live reading. I've often wondered, because I've thought before about, like, what if I go to deliver, because in my building, I have to go down to get deliveries because you can't, there's the call box doesn't work. So usually, hopefully they text me that it's there and then I go down and get it. And I've always thought, like, what if I get a delivery during a YouTube? Like, do I just not get it, or do I like pause and then be like, oh, I'll come back for part 2? I don't know. So I guess what happens is I just get up and tell the fumigation dude that he's not going to fumigate while I'm in the apartment, which, by the way, all during COVID has been a thing of like, we're going to fumigate the building. And I'm like, cool, but I'm in it. So like, you can't. I don't know what you're going to do. Like, you got to come up with a less toxic way. But I don't have issues. So hopefully I have enough sage and lemon juice around all my, like, it's clean. I don't know. I don't have issues, thank God. So, but yeah. So fun for me today. And I can't wait to see what the rest of this strange and gloomy day holds. Take care, everybody. Have the best day today. Please like, subscribe, share, follow me on Instagram if you want to see when I'm going live and I post the time-lapse video with the songs, which I didn't talk about today because I forgot, but they were applicable for sure. So you can see messages, additional messages in the songs there. In the description box below, there is a wish list of cards. If you feel like sending me new cards for new imagery, feel free to do so. There's a lot of cool decks in there. And if you think of new decks that you think I would like, DM me because I like to see new imagery all the time. Let me think of anything else. Oh, Patreon. If you are interested in having access to a monthly check-in reading, and this is additional content, as well as bi-weekly 3-card readings, the first of which will occur next Monday. Please join my Patreon as one of my angels or prayers or saviors. I have 3 different tiers. The second tier gets 3 extra readings a month. That includes the ones I do every single day. And the first tier, you get the monthly check-in, which kind of helps you say, like, this is the energy that I'm bringing into this month, and this is what I need to do to shift into my best self for the rest of the month. So that is all available in the description box below. Hopefully, if I remember to paste it there. I need to update it because it doesn't have my updated cards in there, but I keep forgetting until like right before I go live, and then just think like, oh, I'll do that after. Which is why I have an assistant now. All right, everybody, take care. I hope you're all doing well today, and I shall see you tomorrow morning here on Tuned in Tarot. And hopefully there will not be 5 people coming to my door. It will only be 1 person, and it will be the DM. Yay! You're allowed to interrupt my reading, but only you. Okay, have a great one.